it can be so hard to trust. And I'm in tears because this is such a deep topic for me. It can be so hard to trust. To trust that everything will be okay. To trust that the foundation of reality, some people might say God, but the fundamental nature of reality is goodness. It's really hard to trust that when the shit hits the fan. It's really hard to trust. Look around the world today. You don't have to look out in the world. Most of the people listening to this, you've had deep suffering. You've had betrayal. You've had people who one day they were good to you, the next day they were hard, or somebody died young, or you were, I can't say it on certain platforms, but you were graped. You can do a little translating and understand, or someone who you really trusted betrayed you. That's what I'm dealing with right now. That's what's breaking my heart and making it hard to trust. I rented out my home to my best friend and his partner, and he has just betrayed me over and over and over. He's treated me like shit the moment he moved in. He lied about work trade. I gave them a discount. These are two people who were in a cult. And so I was trying to help them out, trying to help them get started. So I gave them reduced rent. I gave them work trade, and he lied about the work trade. And when I asked him about it, he doubled down. But more than that is just this is someone who I thought I was going to be friends with for the rest of my life, like the friend who I had been looking for. And ends up he's a narcissist. It's all a show. He knows how to present. He learns everything he can about people, and then he presents a false persona to win them over. And he won me over. He won me over to such an extent. I rented out my home to him. It's a second property. It's not where I live now. My home, my property. And he just shit on me over and over and over. And so I finally saw, oh my God. He'd cross boundaries, and then I would talk to him about it, and he would turn it around and make it all my fault. Wouldn't take any responsibility, no empathy. That's how I finally figured out he was a narcissist. He didn't have any empathy. But just the level of betrayal, it just hit me so deep. And so, when these things happen, it's how do we trust? How can we trust? And it's never about the situation. It's always about the feelings. And these feelings are hitting so deep. They're not, I'm psychologically savvy. I assume it's a wound from the past, but oh my God, it hurts. I just bent over for my person who I thought was my friend. And I bent over, and he fucked me over and over. And I kept taking it. And I kept, trying to help. And because I couldn't believe. I couldn't, what was happening was, obviously I'm not being tortured, talk about being hard to trust, being literally held captive and tortured. Who could? I can't even fathom that's like, and much less to maintain a faith in some kind of goodness. But in my case, I just couldn't believe what was happening. So I just kept dissociating from it and kept trying to work things out, trying to help him. Because this guy was in a fucking cult. He made it out of a cult. He's trying to put his life back together. That's part of what we bonded around. I was in a cult, a different cult, and made it out. And I helped people out of cults. And this fucker figured that out. And then he presented himself as someone I could help. This guy is good. Narcissists are good. They're like computer sharks. I don't even want to say that. Sharks are actually mostly gentle beings, except when they're hungry. And narcissists are hungry all the time. So I'm struggling to trust right now. Because, betrayal strikes so deep. Because we have this image, and sometimes the image is accurate and the person changes, and sometimes the image that we had, the understanding we had of the other person, sometimes it's just not accurate. Like sometimes it's accurate and then they change, but sometimes it's not even accurate. Like it was all just a facade. I think what makes it so painful is I was really trying to help. And, from the start of meeting this person, I just had the feeling like we're supposed to do something together. We're supposed to help people recover from cults. Like I just had a feeling, and I don't know, and that feeling was false. I got fooled, and it hurts. And it's so easy to fixate on the situation. Because the long and short of it is what he did isn't horrible. He's not kidnapped me and torturing me, But the feelings are excruciating. Oh my God, the pain, the sorrow, the sense of loss, the sense of betrayal, the hurt, the anger. Oh my God, the rage. Oh man, if I were to share some of the feelings and thoughts I've had, I'd probably get locked up. The desire to take vengeance. God, the feelings can be so fucking big. There's a song that plays on TikTok all the time. It's something like, Spirit, lead me to the place, lead me to the waters where I can just trust. I'm totally mangling it. Oh my, I just listened to it. It's so beautiful. Spirit, lead me to where my trust is without borders, where I walk upon the waters. Oh my God, I've got goosebumps. And it's like, isn't that what we all want? Like we all want to just trust, no matter what, that everything will be okay. That even the worst shit that happens, even when your best friend stabs you in the back, that somehow that's going to serve. That somehow it's part of this crazy alchemy that in the end is going to lift us up to a height and a glory and a beauty and a love beyond anything we can fathom. It's like the most famous psalm, as I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I will fear no evil. It's one thing not to fear evil, but it's another thing to hold on to your faith amidst insanity, amidst pain and suffering so deep and torture. Again, I'm not being tortured by this guy, but the feelings are torturing me. Like I feel I am held captive by my own feelings. And that's not to put down the horror of people who are actually held captive and tortured, but to trust that even as you're being fucking tortured, even as your best friend is stabbing you in the back, even as you feel like you're going insane from the pain, that everything will be okay. That's what faith is to me. It's not a doctrine or a dogma about a particular religion. It's the uncompromising belief in goodness, that the good will prevail, that everything will be all right. And I know this is true, but boy, is it fucking hard to live it and believe it and trust it. I'm in the trenches of these feelings that are so painful. It makes me want to unalive myself. And no, I'm not in danger. I'm not going to do that. But there's that intense, the pain. Spirit, lead me to where my trust is without borders, that I can walk across the lava water of betrayal.